Welcome to the Femalepreneur Coach podcast. I am your host, Rebecca Barr. I am a transformational mindset and business coach and six-figure award-winning female entrepreneur. Ladies, I'm here to tell you that business and making money doesn't have to be hard when you're in alignment and flow. Inside this podcast, I will be showing you how to transform your mindset to program it for success, how to maximize your money vibrations, and how to redesign your business for ultimate financial and time freedom. You know you are meant to live an epic life. Now it's time to claim it. Thank you so much, Jo, for joining me. Thank you for everybody who's watching the masterclass. So obviously I'm Rebecca, aka the Femalepreneur Coach, and then this is Jo Ripley, who is a Moonology expert, who is just an absolutely incredible inspiration to me, helps me with all of my business decisions. We've literally just been working out my launch dates for the Business Academy, and I just thought she would be such a fantastic person to like share your message, share your energy, and just sort of give people a bit of an insight as to how they can work with energy and spirit and bring that into their business practices. Because as I just sort of said to you a minute ago, like for me, as much as I love to be in my feminine energy and, you know, really lean into my intuition, sometimes you do just need some sort of outside help to help you with these big decisions, to help you kind of make the right, go into the right direction. And I found that spirituality for me has just absolutely helped me so much in business. So I'd love to encourage more women that perhaps don't know that that the two things can align, to empower them to sort of bring that into their practice as well. So thank you so much, Jo, for joining me.
All right.
So I'd love you to start by just sort of explaining a little bit about your experience and your background and how you came to this journey with spiritual practice, because you are literally like the most fascinating person I know.
So I'll start at the beginning, should I? I won't be too long with it, hopefully. I'm not going to take up hours and hours. But as a child, my great grandmother was quite a well-known medium, and in the area where I live up in the Lake District, and people would queue to come and see her. She was a very respected medium, and she was actually blind. Like, I don't even know. Yeah, she used to read tea leaves blind. I don't know how the heck she did it, but I never met her. She passed away before I was born. But she was my great grandmother. So her daughter, which was my nana, growing up, she used to say to my mum, because I used to talk to her things that weren't there, and they used to be like looking, and my nana said, she's like my mum. She's totally like my mum. And so from a very young age, we didn't have a lot of money. We were really, really poor. We lived in, no carpets. I didn't have a coat, like wearing plimsolls to school because we couldn't afford shoes, that sort of thing. It was really cold in the winter.
Bless you.
Yeah, I was lived in complete poverty, lots of damp and, it's just not nice. Anyway, my nana used to go and get me little astrology books, and she'd always try and get me a little magazine on spirituality. And she was really anytime I talked to her and I said, Nana, I've just seen this colour around this lady, and she'd say, oh, that's an aura. And she used to say, I wish I could see them, because she so wanted to be like her mum. But I was so lucky growing up in the family that I grew up in, because I was really nurtured and never told, oh, shut up, you're not talking to an angel.
That's so good, isn't it? And it's so important when you have that encouragement. I always think with my children, I really like my daughter's an artist, and I've got one that's a dancer, or thinks she is. Bless her. But I always really try and encourage that, to follow your dreams, dream big, all of that, follow your own path. I love that you were nurtured in that way.
Yeah, and they were all singers, my family. So my nana was a club singer, and they did all the circuits, and then so that was quite a natural progression for me to learn how to sing, play guitar, play piano. So even though we had no money, I would literally just go and sing in the choir for free, and it was just really, it was very hippy dippy upbringing. And then
I love that though. And you've got such a beautiful voice. So obviously, Jo, as part, she is a woman of many, 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 many talents. But one of them is obviously that you host new moon rituals for the new moons, the full moons. And the ceremonies that you do are just so beautiful, and your voice is just so enchanting. It's definitely something that's drawn me to your energy, but it's just, it takes it to a whole nother level, which I love. It becomes more of an experience, doesn't it? So we need a CD, Jo, if you don't have one already.
I know, I've got it on the list. Well, this was the thing. So it's really strange how my life developed, because I ended up really getting into law of attraction very young, and actually started doing law of attraction about 18. And so I'm 38 now. I've been doing it for about 20 years. And literally, I had 2 young babies before I was 20. And I used to imagine picking up my daughters from the school that was, you had to pay for. It's a very posh school, and I used to say to everyone, when they go to senior school or high school, that's when they'll be going there. I've seen it, I've already seen it. And I used to sit and envision it and imagine myself driving up and picking them up. And I manifested it. I absolutely did. They went there.
You know what, it's so funny as well, because I can definitely look back now and think of times when I've manifested things as well without consciously even knowing anything about the law of attraction. That's the thing, isn't it? People think it's something, a technique that you have to learn or something you have to switch on, but the reality is we're always manifesting with our own personal energy, whether that's the good, the bad and the ugly. And I absolutely did that with my son, actually, because I remember obviously I had read the law of attraction by that point, because he's 3 now. So just thinking every day, right, and I sadly, you know, I had a bit of a battle with infertility on and off over the years, and you know, I'd had 2 miscarriages prior to him, so it was really unlikely at that point that I was going to have any more children. Jokes on them, because I'm now on my next one subsequently. But I really did visualize what pushchair I was going to buy. I'm going to be on the school run, I'm going to be pushing this baby, literally. And it was so funny, because the first day of term that the kids actually went back after the summertime, after I'd had him, my partner was like, do you want me to take the kids to the school? And I was like, yeah, I really bloody do, but I've been visioning this for a year where I'm going to be the one pushing the baby in the pushchair, so I kind of have to go just to see out that vision and complete the loop. But it's funny how
and it just goes to show the energy, you know, having that intention and putting it out there. And people used to laugh at me because I was so poor. I literally lived in a council house, I had no job, and I literally I decided that was it. I was going to get myself together. And I went and got a place at university, trained to be a nurse, and I was a school nurse, and I was a health visitor. And literally, right, Rebecca, I have 0, right, university fees. I literally have manifested everything, and I have no university debt at all. And I did 7 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So even before I got into
opportunities that would come your way, is that unexpected income? How did that work?
I just put it out there to the universe because I wanted to do school nursing, and I was like, right. And then the degree opportunity came up in the newspaper, and someone gave it to me, and I was like, so everything always just seemed to line up because I put it out there. And then once I found Moon manifesting, so once I found Yasmin about 3 years ago, and she wasn't very big then, she hasn't. I got the book. Yeah, so 3 years ago, when I think the book came out in 2018, and it was around that time that I saw it, and I was like, oh, this is good. And obviously I've always been into astrology, and I do tarot and all the rest of it. So I was thinking, oh, I like the look of this, and I had a go. And at first, I've got to say, my efforts were, it's actually quite difficult to get your head round at first. And I've got to say, my first efforts were laughable. I look back at them now, my own ceremonies that I made, and didn't know what I was doing. But I just followed Yasmin like a hawk. I went to loads of her trainings. I just got in a group and really just got honed the craft. And it was really bizarre, because all my things that I'm good at came together into one. Because
that's when you're in alignment, isn't it? When it's all the planets have aligned, everything complements each other. That's when I divine synchronicities. I love that so much. So you mean working with the moon's energies to sort of supercharge those manifestations?
Yeah, and then they'd come faster. Once I got into it and I learned how to do it, I was like, oh, I don't have to wait 10 years to get my kids into a school. I can literally do it. I can have what I want really, really fast. So
how did that happen? Did you just manifest the money, or did another opportunity come up?
I literally I was just manifesting everything I wanted, like literally just manifesting like mad. And so I just like, I thought about I wanted a red Audi TT, just literally just put it out there, had it within a lunar cycle, you know, like it was just so mad. Like
Oh my God,
literally
I'm good, but I'm not that good.
I'm pretty good. So,
what do you think
you know,
are the
like,
main blocks to manifesting what it is that you want? Do you think it's around limiting beliefs around deserving and
yeah, and that's a lot of
self-sabotage?
it's that work of as well. The other thing is, a lot of the women I work with, they're very, very controlling. So particularly women in business, they don't like to give up control. And so in order, what I say to people is you have to know when to lean back and receive, and trust that the universe has it all in hand, if it's for the good of all or not at all. You know, if it doesn't come to you, it's because it's not meant to happen right now. It doesn't mean to say it'll never happen, just means that it's got to be in divine alignment with everything else that's going on in the planet and the world. So, you know, we have to trust that. And I think a lot of people get really stuck on the process of like, because they want to plan everything and how it's getting to them. You know, when I put it out there that I wanted that car that's outside, I literally like just let it go, and I didn't think any more of it. Didn't my new moon wish? Like people say to me, you know, I do give techniques for visualization, etc., and we do them at the new moon, but I don't generally revisit them. I just let the universe do its job because I trust it.
Yeah.
And I think that's the most powerful thing that I can
and then
teach
you've
anybody.
got a diary, haven't you, that you like go back to and revisit those, because I probably forget. That's the problem. That's probably sometimes where I think I go wrong. It's like I've almost got too many goals that I'm like, God, what was meant to come next? What was meant to come after that? But I have learned to relax a little bit. I have to say, like, obviously, you know, part of my backstory is that when I first became an entrepreneur, I was very much in my masculine energy. I was always used to working very much in male-dominated industries, so construction and telecoms and rail, where those sorts of traits were like expected. Like you were just really alpha, really bossy, really like goal orientated, you know, really sort of getting shizzle done all the time. But what I actually realized was when I actually then applied that to my own business, it just meant I was working 24/7. I wasn't happy. It was so bloody hard. I was successful, but it was such a high price, and I had young children. So I actually work like less now than I ever have done before, earning probably like actually take home profit money in my pocket far beyond what I did before. And I'm obviously much happier, so therefore I can sit in my feminine energy. I can be super creative. Like so the last sort of interaction we had was around a was it the new moon or the full moon ceremony that we did together last? But I remember
the new moon.
Okay, so I remember thinking like I need a new like creative solution. Like I want to be able to continue serving my clients, but obviously, you know, I am 6-7 months pregnant, and my personal energy is waning. So I'm like, but I want to continue the journey. And as we were just saying as well, like, you know, having a group coaching program for just a period of time, it's like it almost gets a bit sad, because like I seem to attract really like sort of inspired, motivated, ambitious women, so that will go on and do multiple launches and will go on and do other things, but I'm not part of that process. So I almost get FOMO and then I get like fear of missing out. And so this to me came as a divine download about the Business Growth Academy, offering 12 months of coaching beyond just the initial setup or scale up of their business. That was me very much leaning into my feminine energy. I don't know anybody else that does it like this. I'm sure there probably are people that do. I don't think I've like created the wheel or anything, but it's just so in alignment with me that I almost know it's going to be a success because it's meant to be.
Yeah.
Like the timing's worked out. We've obviously worked out the launch dates, which is really exciting. And again, it's finding that balance, isn't it? Of, like you say, surrender and let go, but also planning and being accountable. Like,
yeah.
How do you find that balance? Like, it's the masculine and the feminine energy in business, isn't it?
And you can use that lunar cycle in that way. So a lot of the work I do with ladies is, you know, when knowing when to be in that yang and knowing when to be in that yin, because when you are, so from the new moon to the full moon, it's very much yang energy. You need to be moving, you're planting your seeds at the new moon, and you're taking that action. You're taking what I call divinely inspired action. So like yourself, you planted those seeds at the new moon, and all of a sudden you get the download, don't you? You get that like, ooh, the aha moment, and you start taking action on it. The thing that we do get in between that new and full moon is you get like a half moon, and it can present a bit of a challenge. So if you look out and look at the sky, you'll see the moon is half. It's half
like
lit up.
or it's literally half the circle.
Yeah. So when it's half a moon, usually on the way up to the full moon, there'll be a challenge, or there'll be something that represents, you know, a block or maybe a barrier to whatever it is that you want. So you can actually at that point decide, am I going to carry this on? But it's because it's yang energy, you should have that extra shove, you know, from the universe, that collective energy on the way up to the full moon to keep moving. And then when you get to that full moon, that's the time where you go, hi, here I am. You know, a lot of people do the launch at the full moon, or they'll do a launch at a new moon as well. It just depends on where you're at in your energy, where you want to go with your energy. But also there is the after the full moon, you've got what's called the disseminating moon, and that just comes straight after that full moon. Sorry, my thing keeps slipping here. I'm realizing
I'm getting closer and closer and closer to the screen as well, so I'm like really leaning into what you're saying. It fascinates me, Jo, so much, because I think I've always known like there's more to life, and just, you know, like coincidences, synchronicities, like manifestations, like things happen that you cannot explain. Why one person is successful and another person isn't, like, it's always fascinated me. And it could be mindset, but equally, you know, we say luck, but really luck is just when preparedness meets opportunity. So I'm always like fascinated, because all of this work just basically lets us know what powerful creators we are and what is available to us, which is exciting.
And as women, we have a natural cycle. So, and the moon represents femininity and the feminine cycle. It goes through the lunar cycle for 29 days. So it's, you know, it's like a woman's cycle. That's why the moon is linked to feminine energy. So after we move out of that fullness of the moon and you're moving into that disseminating energy, that's the time to share. That's the time to teach what you've learned. And then you can go into that, you're going into that yin energy after that, and you're like, right, I'm ready to receive. And so you'll find the more you sink in with the moon, the more you get into that natural ebb and flow of the energy. So that would be, you know, this would be the time for after the full moon, when I start to really think about all the new things that I need to do, like doing all the jobs that sort of don't really light my soul up, but they need doing, you know, like the accountant, like I've just been thinking like I need to book in a call in with my accountant, you know, and after the full moon, you know, you want to be lining up all that stuff that's going to be, you know, all the jobs that you need to do, look at your money, etc., you know, but you want to be in that yin phase where you're not going out there and doing all the work, you're more like, oh, come to me money.
I like that. I'm all about the receiving, definitely. Although as women, it's the hardest thing, isn't it? Because we are so much in our masculine energy. We're constantly giving away our energy, ourselves to others, to our children, to our partners, to work. To actually receive help or even a compliment can be really hard for us. So I'm all about that. I absolutely love it. And I think I love the symbolism as well of like the full moon is essentially like letting go, isn't it, of things that don't serve you, and then the new moon is about sort of setting those intentions, your wishes, like bringing in new opportunities. And
if you think about
no, I was just going to say, I do think that is the key in business, in keeping it fresh and exciting and moving forwards and finding new creative ways to serve your clients. It's like that cycle, isn't it? If you just keep doing the same thing on rinse and repeat, it gets really boring very quickly.
And also knowing when to rest and not to quit. And that's the most important thing. I think when you do an effective yin cycle, you're actually going to set yourself up for a really good new cycle, that you want your energy for those first 2 weeks to head towards that full moon, because everything you do then, you're gonna, you've got that natural extra energy from the universe that's going to push you forward. So and it does follow that cycle. If you think about the what I teach is, at the new moon you've got the maiden energy. If we think of archetypes, you've got that maiden fresh energy. Then you move into the mother energy at the full moon, where it's full. It looks like a full swelling belly ready to give birth.
Me.
Yeah,
right now.
The mother. And then we've got crone energy, haven't we? Like when the moon is when we're waning and it's time to go inwards and we're introspective. And like, that's a really powerful time, because we start to get really clear on what it is that we go inside and go, does this serve me anymore? Did that last cycle work for me? And then move into that fresher, newer energy again with a new set of ideals, values, beliefs from what worked last month. I love the fact that we get to have a new fresh start every single month.
Again, I love the symbolism of it, that we don't, just because we've always done something a certain way, we don't have to continue to do it in that way. Every month we should always be looking at ways to cut off the things that don't serve us, to move in a new direction, to bring in new energy. Like 100%, I love that. I'm actually like that every Monday. Monday is my favorite day of the week, and people think it's absolutely ridiculous, but I'm like, it's a brand new opportunity. It's a brand new week. Like, anything could happen. Think where you could be this time next week. But it's probably a bit masculine of me actually, but I love to like plan out my days. I get really excited. It's just that new opportunities that I love.
Do you know what Mondays are ruled by the moon?
Are they?
Yeah, they are. So maybe like secretly, you've always loved this energy, but they are like Mondays are ruled by the moon, Tuesdays are ruled by Mars, Wednesdays are ruled by Mercury, Thursday's Jupiter, Friday's Venus, Saturday is Saturn, and Sunday is the Sun. So
that makes sense.
You know
when
now.
you think about it, yeah, that makes sense when you think about it. Oh, I love that. Yeah, I have been told that actually, I think also you told me to lean into that like spiritual aspect a little bit more. And it's definitely something that's fascinated me when I look back and think of like my business wins and my highlight reel of life. There's always been something that prior to something amazing happening, where I just knew it was going to happen. Like, I've always had this sense of knowing that things are going to work out. It's all happened for a reason, and I think that's really comforting in business, isn't it?
It really is, yeah. And I think as well,
even in life, obviously.
Yeah, and that inner knowing, that spirituality is so important. But I would say as well, like working with ladies with the moon cycle in particular, as much as I said, ladies like to be in control, it actually gives them a sense of control because they plan their life with it. So a lot of them will go and do their new moon wishes at the new moon, then they'll start taking that in action, and then they feel like, I've got friends who work in business who I coached like over a year ago, and lots of them have left their day jobs, they're fully in business now, and they just use this model of turn up to a moon ceremony, set their intentions, get cracking, get going, and then at the full moon they whatever they're going to do, they'll keep going, push it out there, and then they have a break. They allow themselves to do them really small jobs, and then afterwards when they're in that yin cycle, and allow themselves to receive. And it is a beautiful approach to life, that we have this death and rebirth. We have this moment of like going towards that, we need to start afresh, we need to start anew. Definitely. So I
love that as well, because then it gives you that comfort that there's no wrong decisions, because it's also like there's no failure. So there's always another opportunity to start again, to think again, to try something else again. So even if one thing doesn't work out, as they say, as one door closes, another door opens. And that's definitely been my experience. And I find a lot with clients that I work with that maybe struggle a little bit with their mindset, like imposter syndrome, or self-sabotage, procrastination, or not quite feeling like they hit the mark. I think it is that fear of failure that becomes so crippling. They're worried about getting anything wrong, but the reality is it's just about taking inspired action, isn't it? And just sort of any movement is always going to be positive. Whether it works out or not, it will always lead on to something else. And I've had businesses that have failed spectacularly, actually. And that was something that really set me back for a long time. And then I just suddenly woke up with like a new energy and a new approach towards it. And I thought, I've actually earned my stripes as a business owner. Like, you know, the worst thing that ever could happen to you in business is for a business to fail. And it did. And I survived. And actually, I pivoted and moved into coaching more. So it gave me more time to lean into that. And that has brought me so much more enjoyment and fulfillment than anything I was doing before. And I'm not working 7 days a week anymore. So it was amazing. It was like, I can absolutely see how that was meant to happen and how it was for my higher goods, for my, you know, I was basically working a 7-day-a-week business. So it wasn't in line with my values, with my personality, with my energy. Like, no one can sustain 7 days a week indefinitely. And I did, like, God, 5 or 6 years of that, like, just with young children as well. And I was so out of alignment. I literally couldn't even tell you my name. Like, I just had lost all touch of myself, all sense of myself. And I just, so bringing in these things to keep you in alignment. I know when I feel out of alignment now. I know when I'm doing too much. I know when it's like something going on with the moon. Like, I even Google it some days and I'm like, it's Mercury in retrograde. Like, there's got to be something going on, because I feel out of sorts and I don't know why. But then I've got the flexibility in my business that if I'm feeling like that, I can move things around. Nothing's kind of set in stone, which is lovely.
Yeah, and don't fear the retrogrades. They get a bad rap. It's just it's knowing how to use them, because it's all the retrograde is you're getting a second chance. You get a second chance to redo something, to come back to something. So because the planet is actually, you know, it loops back on itself. So basically, it's just a second chance to go back and redo something and come back at it with a fresh energy. I wouldn't start new things under a retrograde, purely because of the fact that, you know, you're probably going to have to come back and do it again at some point when it's a retrograde again. I've bought a few appliances under a retrograde and had to return them under the following retrograde, which is, so I would never buy electrical appliances. I think I've gone off on a tangent here, but you know, it's like when you know about energy and you understand energy and frequency, and you really do change your life. You can really, really change your life. And I was good at law of attraction before. I was all right at, like, you know, bringing those things to myself, but sometimes it took quite a bit of time. So like now, using the moon, you've got this tool that just, it keeps you on track. You know, you can literally run your life from it. You know, you feel that collective energy, and other people are in that collective energy as well. So what I find is when I'm doing new moon ceremonies, you've got a lot of women that are vibing with you. So you've got that collective vibration in the big ceremonies I do. Like, what I get everyone to do is like say their wishes out loud, and I get them to turn the Zoom on, and they all say them at once, and you feel the energy and the vibrations go whoosh, because that's what it's about.
Well, it's like the Maharaji effect, isn't it? And you know, so obviously my kind of experience is based in science as well as, you know, energy and manifestation. That's why I know why I can speak about it so convincingly, because I know that it's based in science. But obviously, you know, the collective consciousness, there is power in that, tapping into the female collective consciousness particularly as well. That's why people pay thousands for masterminds, because there is power in women getting together, sharing their energy, amplifies it. So it absolutely makes sense to me. And I can see how, like you say, if everybody's channeling that during that one night, is it one night? Does it, like, I know it kind of varies with different moons. So if somebody wanted to literally start today and think, right, okay, well, I would love to lean into my feminine energy more and apply that in business practices, because there's so many benefits, isn't there? Equally, like, you can, obviously it gives you some sort of divine guidance and dates and key dates and stuff to work with, but also it strengthens your intuition, and that feeling of like, no, this is the right thing for me. So therefore, if it's the right thing for you and you're super passionate about it, inevitably it's going to lead to a better outcome, and it's going to have a better conversion. But if people were like, yeah, no, I can kind of see some of that, how that makes sense, how would they start working with the moon's energy from now?
From today, right now?
Yeah, they were like, you've converted me. What do I need to do? Where do I start? Other than obviously come and find you on Instagram.
I think the main thing I would say is, you know, don't overspend loads of money. That was one of some people that have come to it with me. They're like, oh, I've bought all this and I've suddenly turned spiritual. Things don't make us spiritual. Turn up with a pen and a paper. It's all you need. And you know, to learn maybe some chanting, or just turn up to a ceremony being authentically you. Let yourself be in the moment, but also if you are on your own and you're doing it by yourself, having that moment where you put a bit of incense on, light a candle, and just have, and some people even do it in the bath. I mean, like literally you can do it anywhere. I've literally done these on my holidays, and like, you know, got my suitcase and like made myself like just a little tea light, and you know, and just sat there writing my wishes, sitting and visualizing what it is. And the most important thing I would say is getting into a state of gratitude, because gratitude vibrates at a very high frequency. It's about 800 megahertz. So the higher your frequency vibration, the quicker that manifestation is going to come in.
Yeah, I actually do that as part of like my daily practice for mindset, because I think the more that you're in that state of positivity, gratitude, like nothing else can kind of touch you. It's almost like wearing it like an armor, isn't it? You can always see the positive in any situation. You can bounce back from like challenges a lot quicker. But equally from an NLP point of view, just that daily reinforcement of your goals and what it is that you want, obviously, you know, helps you to manifest it quicker, but equally take the inspired action. You're going to lessen the resistance because there's less fear around achieving that goal. So obviously, like from your subconscious mind. So it just, this is what I mean, it just makes so much sense. But I also love like the beautiful like symbolism of the ceremonies as well, which is just lovely.
Yeah, it's like, and it's taking that time. If you start to really understand what each moon, because each moon's got a flavor, it's a bit like going to, you know, your 12-pack variety crisps, and you decide, you know,
this is what I love. You've tailored all my readings, haven't you, to my star signs and my personal energy, and then it will, like certain moons will have like extra energy attached to it. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. So should we talk about yours or not? Can we say what you are?
Well,
as an example,
I'm a very obvious Gemini. Definitely.
Well, you're a Gemini rising as well, so your rising sign's the most important thing. So like learning Yasmin's Moonology approach, she likes to work a lot with the rising sign, and your rising sign is the face you show the world. So it's who everyone else gets to see. But you really...
I think Gemini has two faces though, doesn't it?
I think though, because you're rising and your sun sign, it's all in your first house. So I feel as though what I see is what I get with you, definitely. Yeah. But
I have no poker face at all. I think that's probably why it didn't work out for me in HR.
Oh yeah, so you know, with yourself, you know, it would be, look, we've got a Gemini new moon coming up, so this is a really important time for you because you're a Gemini rising, and it's an eclipse as well. And this is the thing with eclipses, they're very karmic, and the energy can, anything could happen. You know that song, anything could happen, when it goes, anything could happen. That I always think of that with eclipses.
So it's so interesting, isn't it, how that's all come about at the time where I'm launching new services as well, which I love, because I feel like it's divine timing. It's gonna go well, because everything's kind of coming aligned as such. It was meant to happen at this time.
Yeah, and that's the thing, it will always, with the eclipses, the tendency is to put you on the path you're supposed to be on. So I met that. Yeah, so when it was a new moon eclipse in Sagittarius in December, when I met Jess. So Jess Cunningham. And so that was interesting because it was aligned, it all aligned perfectly to meet that person and to share our stories and just you know, because I've been working over there on her group as well. So you've got that, it's just nice, it brings you into alignment with all the people you're meant to be seeing, and so this is going to be perfect for you. I absolutely have 100% faith that the Gemini new moon's going to be awesome for you. But yeah, so if you can align yourself with that flavor of the moon and get to know, like, when it's a new moon in Taurus and the new moon in Aries, and then you'll get to know all the differences between the flavors. So say if it's Taurus, it's always around finance, prosperity, money, you know, all that sort of thing, property.
So that was the last moon, wasn't it, Taurus?
Yeah.
Yes, I tracked down some I was going to say citronella. What do I mean?
Citrine,
that's it. Yeah, I'm like, citronella, isn't that candles for mosquitoes? I'm still learning, everyone, just so you know. I'm no expert whatsoever. Yeah, citrine, I tracked some down because obviously that also helps to sort of welcome in abundance, doesn't it? And it's very much in keeping with the Taurus moon.
Yeah, so there's a stone of abundance. Yeah, so the one after Gemini will be the new moon in Cancer, and that's so Cancer is what comes under the 4th house energy, and that's around family, home, all those sort of things that, you know, if you want, you know, if you want good relationships with people. Obviously we can never wish to
so interesting. So is that after the next one?
Yeah, the new moon in Cancer.
That's in the baby shoe.
Do you know, I was looking at I'm nosy at your chat. Obviously everyone doesn't need to know, but you know, yeah, it is interesting when you look at people's chat how much you can actually glean from like looking at them. And yeah, so new moon in Cancer is all about the home, the family. And so if you've got particular wishes around that, you know, like a new home, a new, you know, happy relationships, those sort of things, then definitely get them on your wish list. So you can use that energy to influence, but you can write anything on your wish list that you want. You just, you know, but for you, I've done you as a special chart, which means that you get that extra push on your wishes, don't you? Because yours is really just for you. That's, you know,
it's all done at the right time for me as well. So absolutely. So that actually brings me on to my sort of last point. So if people did want to then really you know, work with the energy, give themselves the best possible chance, really tap into that like energy and the feminine aspect, how can they work with you, Jo?
Oh, so they can come over to my Instagram. I'm the Soul and Life Purpose Coach on Instagram. I not only just do moon ceremonies, I help people to get clearer on where they're meant to be heading in life. And I think it's that thing of like, a lot of the ladies that I work with are my age. So I'm 38 now, I say about. I don't like to admit it.
I'm still older than you, so you sound like you're ancient.
But you know, when I think a lot of the people that I work with are around the same age as me and older, and it's because we all sort of hit a stumbling block in life and gone, do you know what? Like, I'm not even sure if I like this, what's happening to me. I want to take control. I want to like actually have a good crack of the whip at doing something or changing it up. And I find that they just get like, oh, it's just amazing the transformations that you see. So head over to the Soul and Life Purpose Coach on Instagram, send me a DM, and we'll talk. I like to talk to people. I don't currently have any tech as such. I will be having some tech set up, but I tend to be one of those people that gets on a call.
Protect that energy, bless you. But it's funny, isn't it? Because I think that's probably why we're so aligned. It's like we essentially have the same purpose. I want to inspire women rather than like me that were just in a corporate career for years thinking that's the right thing to do, that's the sensible thing to do. It's about, you get to that point in life, you're like, okay, I've done that now. I've had my kids now, or, you know, it's my time. What do I actually want to do? Like, forever's a long time. If I've still got another 30, 40, 50 years in me, please God, maybe more. I'm hoping to annoy my children for a very long time. Do I really want to be working in accounts or HR for that time? Let's see what else I can do. Let's see what else is out there for me. And when you are working for yourself, like, it's so much, like, the opportunities are endless. Like, literally, other than the school run at the moment, that's the only thing that that governs my life. Like I have complete time freedom, complete financial freedom. You know, I can travel, I can do, I mean, I can't right now, obviously I'm pregnant, but prior to that, and at least some, you know, it's just sometimes knowing that those options are available to you, even if you don't take them. It's so empowering to know that you can go anywhere, do anything, be anywhere, like be anything. And that's kind of my mission too, is to really sort of spark that empowerment in women through entrepreneurship, and yours
Yeah.
is more of a spiritual path, isn't it? So I think that's probably why we
Yeah.
get on so well.
Yeah,
Definitely.
and mental health as well, because my background's in mental health. So I help a lot of ladies with getting that compassionate voice back. And you've seen it in the ceremonies when we do the releasing ceremonies. And I say, you know, release things that don't serve you anymore, because it's blocking your confidence, it's blocking you blooming into this beautiful, you know, blossom that you are, this beautiful flower that everyone needs to come and see you and, you know, shine in the world like you were born to. Because the thing is, it's like I was saying before this morning, I went on a walk with my friend and I said, we were walking, I just said, inaction, it stifles the energy in your life. When you don't take those steps, the universe can't help you. It can't push you forward because you've got no forward momentum. And it loves, even if you're taking baby steps, those tiny steps, the universe will just come and match it, and it'll help you with your frequency. So you know, it doesn't matter if you come with only a couple of wishes. By the end, I'll make sure you've got 100.
Yeah, I'm still trying to manifest Zac Efron. Not sure if that's going to work out. However, you never know. I'm going to put it out there and we'll see what happens. I did manifest Simon Cowell once, though. That was quite funny. I literally listened to one of his podcasts and then I saw him literally the next day in Harrods. But I was so like, I was probably actually quite intimidating for him. Bless him. He was there with his son. But I went and told him, I was like, I cannot keep this in. I have to tell you, I've manifested you. Like, I literally listened to this yesterday. Your message really like resonated with me, and I thought, right, I'm going to meet him one day and tell him how much that meant to me. And I literally saw him the next day and he completely agreed, which I always think is quite interesting. So when I think of like, you know, I'm an entrepreneur at heart, I'm a businesswoman at heart. I would, you know, I read the Financial Times, like I follow the stock exchange, I love a funnel, like business is my jam, and psychology as to how people buy and patterns and the economy and that sort of thing. It's not for everyone, but it is for me. And I think these really high-powered business leaders like Richard Branson, Simon Cowell, they are very much in their masculine and feminine energy, because they're probably really intuitive. They probably don't second out their intuition. They go with their gut. They're not afraid to fail. They make amazing connections and collaborations, relationships. They're probably really inspiring as a leader. And yet, as women in business, we feel like we need to stifle our feminine energy. But it's actually like the really powerful leaders are the ones that have the balance of both, whether that be a man or a woman. So when I spoke to Simon, he completely agreed with me. He was like, yeah, I think you manifested me. I was like,
yeah, and that's the thing, you know, there you had the thought, you let it go, and probably didn't think about it again. And that is the art, isn't it? That is such an art. Not coming back to it, not second guessing it, not trying to rewrite the script of how it's coming to you.
Well, he certainly wasn't on my vision board, I have to say. I wasn't going to put him up there, but I just thought, yeah, God, I'd really love to meet him and just say how much he's inspired me. And that's my hope, is that one day someone will track me down to do the same thing. Like, I genuinely want to make the world a better place and make, you know, impact, not make, but empower women to dream bigger, for us to be the one, like nice women to be the ones that make the big incomes, and obviously make the world a better place, obviously.
Well, I'll always be tracking you down, Rebecca, because I always need you.
I'm always going to be here, don't you worry. Oh, well, thank you so much for your time, Jo. Obviously, I'll put all your details in the podcast, in the masterclass, because I'll be repurposing this, all about the path of least resistance. And thank you so much for your time. Like, I really, really appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh, no worries. Thank you so much for having me. I just want to mention at the end here that I've got a group on Facebook called Soul and Moon Rising, and people can come in there, and I do free readings for people.
Lovely.
So yeah.
Fantastic community as well. That's love. And community is everything, particularly with women in business. Like, we all need to stick together, tap into that collective energy, keep each other accountable, show each other what's possible for each of us. And it's also really beautiful as well. Like, the ceremonies and stuff are just lovely. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
We will no doubt speak to you soon.
Okay, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you for listening to this episode. It's been amazing to share this time with you, and I feel honoured to be part of your journey. If you've loved what you've heard, had an aha moment, or found value in this episode, then please do like, comment and share. I would love to connect with you on Instagram and Facebook, so come and find me, and I look forward to helping you build your epic life.